Alright folks, CH Miles with you once again for Sketch Card Collectors on DeviantArt. In the last episode or so, I covered some of the other inks that I used. There was one other thing that I wanted to touch on just really quickly here before I move on to the coloring, just because I didn't want to leave this out as far as a medium was concerned. These are dip pens with various nibs, and these nibs come off and you can switch them out. This is a holder, that's the nib, and they come in a couple of different sizes. And basically what you would do is you would dip these pens in an India ink and use them to draw. This pair of holders and I think like 6 nibs cost me $8 or $9, and it was it's Speedball's artist kit. I think they make a couple of different ones. This was the sketching one. Speedball, of course, also makes India ink, but I prefer the Bombay India ink. Just another technique that you can use to draw or ink your cards if that is a medium that you're comfortable with. Some calligraphy students might make a better transition with this than going to pen. So just another option there as far as drawing and things that you can use to create sketch cards. Incidentally, you can also use the white India ink to make corrections. I will actually do a tutorial about corrections sometime in the future after I screw up enough cards that I can use them as examples. But anyway, so just another alternative that I wanted to go over so people don't feel like I'm leaving their particular medium out. I will warn you that the tips are kind of pointed, and so they do tend to scrape the surface if you're not holding them and using them correctly. There is a method to it. Be aware of that, because if you don't, you can screw up the surface of your cards. Digs in and peels away the upper surface, and it can ruin a card if you let it. Okay, I'm going to run through this really quickly. I'm going to do this as fast as possible because I have been having trouble with the length of these running too long, and then I can't upload them. So this is like the 10th time I've tried to do color, so let's see how quickly I can get through this. Color. You can color your cards with anything that you want. You can use watercolors. I showed you earlier the cards taped to a piece of cardboard. This is what I drew those, painted those with, watercolor. You can get this at Walmart. You can go to a professional art store and get the expensive watercolors, but honestly, I can't, recommend any one watercolor over another. Watercolors are watercolors, folks. You get good with something and you get what you put into it. Pencils. You can use the Crayola pencils if you want. You can go to Walmart and get them pretty cheap. You can get like 72 colors for a few bucks, and now you've got colors. There is one color, as far as any other pencils are concerned, that I highly recommend you go and get the Prismacolor whites over the white that comes with just about any other pencils, just because there are some wicked cool things you can do with a white Prismacolor pencil, which I will cover, of course, in a future tutorial. I bought 3 or 4 of these. Actually, I bought about 10 of these, and I only got like 3 left because I used them that much. You can use pencils to shade other mediums. It's entirely up to you. Prismacolor. Use the Premiere. If you're going to get these, by all means, spend the extra couple of bucks and get their sharpener, because frankly, the little crappy ones you buy at Walmart do not cut it. They break the leads. They're really soft. So because this is designed for Prismacolor, by all means go for that. About 78 cents per pencil, about 144 colors. I don't see you needing any more than 72 colors, which is going to cost you about 51 bucks on Carpe Diem. This set here, 12, is 8 something, and then the 24 or the 48 pack or whatever is like 24 bucks. I would stick to that range. I don't think you're going to need the whole 144 colors That's just personal opinion. Like I said, it's your money, you can do what you want. As far as markers are concerned, you can use cheapy little crap markers that you buy at Walmart, because this surface area is small enough that the streaking is not going to be as apparent. The larger you go, the more streaking is going to be apparent. If you want to color on the cheap, Sharpie makes a pretty decent range of colors you can use, but they're pretty few and far between. Like, you've got brown and dark brown. You don't have 4 ranges of brown like you will with some of the other more professional markers. But if you want to do it on the cheap, this will definitely get the job done. I would recommend not using the black as far as Sharpie is concerned, because I've heard that the black Sharpie markers brown or yellow over time, and then you're stuck without any color on your page, or a ruined card. My suggestion would be to spend the extra money and go with Prismacolor. I don't know what I ever did before I started using these, to be honest. I cannot speak highly enough about Prismacolors. They do have some negatives. These range in color, I think there's 156 colors. On Carpe Diem, which is the cheapest you're going to find them, you can get a 12-piece set for about $20, or you can get the entire 156 colors for, I think it's $270. These are double-ended. You got the chisel tip, and you got the fine tip. The chisel tip will give you a couple of different line weights. I will go into line weights in a future episode. I love these. I'm not ever going to give these up, although I do supplement them with other things. I sometimes use the Sharpies to shade, and then also I use the Copic markers. I like the Copic, and the big selling point for me is that they are refillable. So I've made the transition from black Sharpie to black Copic pens, because you can refill them. This is the refill pack. Costs you about $5 on Carpe Diem. Kind of expensive, I know, but this will fill their large one about 5 times. So right here, the wide and this, that's about $10, but you're going to get 6 markers out of it. Wide is for large areas. They do about I think 36 colors for the wide, but you can buy the blanks and the ink and fill them and make whatever color you want. Sketch is the next. It's got brush tip on one end, chisel tip on the other. You can refill this one about 10 times from the ink bottle. Their cheapest is the Chow, which is chisel tipped and brush tipped, and you can refill these about 13 times out of the ink bottle. This price is at about $3 a piece, and this one's $4 a piece, as is this one. They do make an original sketch, or an original one, which is basically a chisel tip and a fine tip like a Prismacolor, and they're refillable as well. I went with these because I like the brush tips. I went with this because I usually use a large amounts of black in the stuff that I draw, and boy, you just cannot beat that wide freaking tip right there, let me tell you what. Alright, so that's basically some areas to get started as far as coloring your cards is concerned. I'm going to go ahead and do another thing on alternate sources you can use. This will basically be a slideshow that I'll narrate, and then after that we will get into some techniques. I think I might do one on line weights and explain that out. So thanks once again, folks. If you have any questions, email me or post some comments on DeviantArt, and I will see you next time.